So I was sitting in the airport one day. I think it was Atlanta Airport, as a matter of fact. There was these two gentlemen, and they were having a heated conversation. So one of the gentlemen, said in a very loud voice, "What if we trained them and they all leave? We would have just wasted all of our money." And then, just like right on cue, the gentleman that he was talking with said, "Yeah, but what if we don't train them and they stick around?" And I could not believe that I actually heard those words. So let's get into it here in just a moment. But in the meantime, what I'd like to do is welcome you to John the PM, where we believe that managing projects is not just a job, but a way of life. All right, let's talk about that short clip there. About the training side. One gentleman is kind of saying, well, if we train them, spend a whole bunch of money, they're going to get a whole bunch of new skills and things of that nature. And then what's going to happen? They're going to go find a new job. They're going to find new opportunity. But the other side of the coin is, what if you just don't train anyone? Their skill sets continue to go downhill and degrade, and they actually stay with you. What's going to happen to your organization? So you actually do have two composing ends. Let's examine that a little bit. Let's examine that. Now, I am a professional trainer. We train, we consult, we coach. And, quite frankly, in the economic justification, it's been justified multiple times. If you do certain programs, project management, Lean Six Sigma, leadership, it increases your operational efficiencies, allow defects to go down. You have better accuracy on your projections. So training really does pay for itself. Now, the concern is actually not necessarily the training, but I do want to bring up a couple of points here. One is that when you do the training, you have to apply it. When you do the training, you have to apply it. It is not good enough just to bring in a bunch of folks into the office, have the training session, and then they go back to business as usual. That is not a good thing. Normally, when I kind of orchestrate our training, sessions, we actually do some pre-work at the beginning. What I like to see is a change, organizational change, in the direction that the executive leadership team wanted to go in. Then sometimes you want to kind of lay in what's in it for me. If you have a certification that's tied to it, that is what's in it for them. But where the real secret sauce is afterwards. And that is really reinforcing the learnings, reinforcing those habits, kind of coming back in. And that's what, we're all really all about. So once you learn something, when are you going to apply it? And a lot of times, what I've kind of helpful is, some kind of accountability system, that says like, you committed to doing these things. Did you actually do them? So I want to use a couple of examples. Back when I was a part of a senior leadership team with a Fortune 500 company, the company chose to take all of its senior managers across the entity, and they took us to a university setting. Took us up there for a week. We did our work sessions up there, and then when we came back, we all had like little projects to do, that reinforced the learnings. Pros and cons. The con of that was it took the leadership team out of the workplace and moved them, so that they were, so we could do our thing. Now, the pro of that was because we did it as a cohort, meaning everybody was kind of doing the same thing, then we all heard the same messages. We might have interpreted different, but we did hear the same thing. And generally speaking, when we got back to our workplaces, we're going directionally in the same direction. So that's kind of like the cohort. The other way you can do the training is by individuals. And now, if you're going to do it that way, that's perfectly legit. No issues, never concern. But again, you have to set the stage for them. If you're going to do it as individuals, what I would do, mainly because this is the way I was taught, was to do a train-the-trainer mode. Yes, sir, ma'am, you can go to the training. That's awesome. But you are responsible for coming back and training the rest of us in it. Wow. Now you're talking about accountability. Now you're talking about actually applying what they've actually learned. And boy, did you actually learn it, because first off, when you were away, you had to learn it well enough so that you can teach others or at least speak to it. And then it would kind of go through the entire organization. A couple other points about training, then I'm going to wrap this up. Sometimes the question becomes, who should be trained? From my perspective, I believe that the training should start from the top down. Why? Because in every organization, The bottleneck is always going to be the boss, always, okay, owner of the company. The company organization will not grow any larger than a big boss. The owner of the company will. So that person, that individual, that group of people, they have to always be learning and increasing their skill sets because the organization will not grow past them. Now, second layer, the people are actually going to be doing the work. They also need to be trained because sometimes what happens is that there's so much emphasis on the top layer that the bottom layer really has no idea, or the top layer thinks that things are like super easy, and in reality, that they're not. All right. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed that session. Hopefully it kind of gave you some food for thought, about training, setting up organizations. Been doing this for a long time. I have certain core values. One of them is, you got to use the information, on that. If you ever take one of our classes, you'll definitely know that at the beginning, and middle, and the end, about how passionate I am about actually using the material. Well, if you like this, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us to be a backup service to you. And in the meantime, may all of your projects be successful.